My name is Gavin Evans, and this is my review of Monsters vs. Aliens. And this review will have spoilers, so there's your warning. But I watched this movie all the time as a kid. I loved it back then, but I haven't watched it in over a decade. So I rewatched it and I still like it. It's fine, but it's not one I love anymore. Definitely not. But let's begin talking about the cast, and Reese Witherspoon I think does a perfectly fine job. She carries this movie well enough, and she sells you on everything she needed to. Seth Rogen is someone who I think can be very funny, and as a kid, Bob was the greatest character. The Jello romance, his comments about Derek were just peak comedy to me. Definitely not anymore. I found him to be annoying here, and the humor with his character did not land. Hugh Laurie as Professor Cockroach does a perfectly fine job, but nothing special. Will Arnett as the missing link, I think, is fine, not really memorable. Kiefer Sutherland, I think, does a fine job. Rainn Wilson does a fine job. I because this movie has like an asteroid that comes to Earth with this power, and this girl gets it, and the end of the movie has the villain getting that power, and I find it funny that Rainn Wilson is in both this movie and My Super Ex Girlfriend. So, anyways, his performance is fine. Paul Rudd, fine. Stephen Colbert, fine. For a DreamWorks movie, I think the cast is actually very underwhelming, and these characters don't really stand out as much as they should. And I'll touch on that a bit more later, but I don't even think Susan is a good character. Like, her entire arc is that she is given this incredible power and she realizes just how powerful she is. And I get what it's going for with her relationship with Derek and all of that, but I just don't think it's well explored. Her character just ends up feeling a little flat, and look, Derek is clearly a selfish asshole at the beginning of this movie. That much is clear. But I don't really think it's fair to villainize him for not wanting to continue with the relationship when she's a giant. Like, realistically speaking, it just would not work. And the movie wants me to hate him in that moment, but I just don't. But because he's a selfish asshole at the beginning, he has to be a selfish asshole here. But there is a clear change in circumstance that the movie doesn't really want to explore. I know the movie wouldn't go there, but I kind of wish she became a villain. I think that would have been a very interesting direction. The humor really works for me in this movie. The one scene where the guy does the hand scan and the tongue scan and the butt scan is amusing. The scene when they're going through all the different monsters and the girl keeps screaming is the best joke in the movie. But the rest of the humor, yeah, doesn't work. I love scary movies, as you guys know, and this movie is definitely trying to be a homage to the horror movies of the past. Like, Bob is a mix of Attack of the Killer Tomatoes and The Blob. Susan is Attack of the 50-Foot Woman. Insectosaurus is referencing Godzilla. The missing link is Creature from the Black Lagoon. Professor Cockroach is The Fly. My issue with that is that you're exploring the whole genre, but this movie lacks any bit of edge. It feels too clean, too sanitized, and it just bums me out. Like, a movie that did this much better is the Tim Burton movie Frankenweenie. It's a movie for kids that still has that edge to it while being a love letter to the monster movies of the past. And here it just feels too catered to its audience. And even some plot decisions, like the fact that after the San Francisco fight, they actually let these monsters go. Like, I know she becomes a giant, so you have to suspend some disbelief. I don't know if I can suspend that much, and I feel like that could have been an interesting conflict of them having to break out of this prison. So, like, I don't know, like, I always review movies for what they are and not what I want them to be, and this movie is still a perfectly fine, entertaining sci fi action movie, but I watch it and I just see potential for it to be more than just that. I do like the trope of this powerful substance that gives this human incredible power, and then at the end of the movie, she gets cocky and she gets that power taken away from her, and the villain gets it. That is a trope that almost always works for me. It raises the stakes, it creates some tension, so I that is the best part of this movie, but none of the characters really stand out. None of the humor really lands all too well. The movie is fine as it is, but I just watch it and I'm like, this could have been so much better. So I'll give Monsters vs. Aliens a 6 out of 10. I didn't hate watching this movie, it just never gets to the heights it should have gotten to. But, Monsters vs. Aliens, what did you think about it? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, stay tuned for more videos soon, and Gavin out.